Hello, travel lovers, and welcome back to another travel adventure. Today, we're going to explore El Paso, and we got the tour guide in this video that is going to be doing most of the talking. So, stay tuned. This is going to be a 30-minute video, and you want to stay till the end to see the big surprise.
Enjoy.
Hey, Homestead news, entertaining, never boring. All about traveling, the world we're exploring. In the RV, hiking and tourism. Stay tuned in, trust you don't want to miss it. What we cooking up? Grab a plate, come and try. Show you plenty tips, save money, DIY, and there's more to know. Trivia, that too. You gotta stay tuned to Homestead news. Yeah, hey, this is Homestead news. Woo!
Apartment building at the top there. This area through here is called Sunset Heights, and it's a historical area. So if you're going to refurbish that house right there, then it has to look just like it did when they first built it. That's a pretty nice house. You're going to see different styles of architecture all throughout the city. Some is very unique. So what part of town did you move to? Particular bridge. If you're driving a vehicle, it's only one way coming in to the U.S. However, you can walk both ways.
Now, is that Paso del Norte?
Indian, yes.
So that goes into downtown Juarez,
Right,
from downtown El Paso.
right. One time, they actually had live alligators in this park.
Yeah,
And then in the 60s, they took them out and put them in the zoo and then replaced them with the statue. They say people, quote, were abusing the alligators. I don't know how you abuse an alligator, but that's what people, yeah, but in the 60s, you know, that's when a lot of things were changing.
heard about that. Definitely wanted to get over and see that.
No, definitely wouldn't know how you would abuse an alligator. I'd be afraid of it.
So at one time there was alligators here, and in the 60s they took the alligators out and replaced it with this statue. So it looks like it's made of 4 alligators. Made out of trash, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That mural. And there's the coffee box I've heard of.
Yeah. then right off to our left here, not this building, but the one next door to it, many years ago this was a hotel, and when President Kennedy came to El Paso, he stood here on this balcony and gave a speech to the city. I'm sure you guys remember the old press stores, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this building right off to the right here where these lights are and everything, this was called the Elite Confectionary, and it was an ice cream store where Pancho Villa used to like to come to eat ice cream. See, he was very fond of women and ice cream, and it didn't matter which order. And then this building right here on the corner, all the glass and everything, this was the Acme Saloon, and this is where John Wesley Hardin died of lead poisoning. Do you understand that term?
Oh yeah.
You guys watch the old cowboy movies. Sometimes I have to explain that to people. Lead poison. Oh, did they eat some paint or something? No, really. I've had people ask me that. No. Size your thumb hit him back in the head. Yeah.
Well, in some of those westerns, they did say, "Eat my lead."
Yeah. This is the county courthouse right here. Oh, hey, here comes another trolley right here. It's out of service. And then this one off to our left here, this building here, is the old federal courthouse. Then back onto the right, this big tall building here, you can get a free ride in a cop's car, 3 hots in a cop. All you gotta do is hold up a liquor store, and they'd be glad to accommodate you right here.
No thanks.
Yeah, right, same here. And this is the new federal courthouse. Quite a visionary for the city, bringing lights, gas, and water, and helping keep Fort Bliss here. The building is built on the territorial style, and what I mean by that is where the wall is higher than the roof, and these things coming out of the side of the wall are called canals to let the water off the roof. Now, can you have any idea why they would build a building with the walls higher than the roof? Well, think of it like a fort. Because see, this was out in the country, and the Indians run wild out here, and so they could lay up there on the top of the roof and shoot at the Indians. See, it was made out of adobe, so it'd be pretty hard to burn, you know.
Right. Let's see.
I'm actually a descendant of the founder of the Massachusetts Bay Colony,
Oh, is that right?
and he was the first governor of Massachusetts.
Is that right? Wow. All I know about me is mud, you know. However, way back there, the ancestors were, if I did it right when I was doing the ancestry thing, it was quite some important people at one time, back in Scotland. Now, this is an active Catholic church right here, but what's unique about it, on the north side there, where you see the apartment buildings, it's like a rest home for the nuns.
Huh. That is unique. All right, Kevin. This is I don't know. Very colorful. Back there.
Now you see the road up there, about halfway up the side of the mountain? I'm going to take you up there today on a tour. It's a scenic drive.
Yeah, the scenic overlook.
Right.
We actually went up there
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna take you back. It's a beautiful view from up there.
It is. Of course, my first I've got a video that we'll post on YouTube next week. Of that scenic overlook.
Oh, wow.
From that scenic
Now, you
overlook.
see this little fence right here? See the little wiggle waggle in it? And down a little farther, you'll see trade engines. What they've done, they've crimped each one of those fence posts to make that design show up by the way the sunlight hits it.
That's interesting. Not sure if it'll show up in the video, but definitely can see it.
You taking a video of all this?
Some of it.
Oh, okay. You say you put it on YouTube?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel for travel.
Oh, okay.
And back to the locomotives. How did they get their name?
How'd the locomotive get its name?
Right, the locomotive team.
I don't know.
I'm assuming it has something to do with the train history here in El Paso, but
Well,
Oh my goodness.
got that right. Oh, we're going a little slow for it. I think you're right. And they tell me that people living within a mile radius can't be near here.
you can't be buried here if you live within a certain number of miles.
Well, anybody living can't be buried here.
Well, true.
Okay. Sorry about that. But anyway, all good aside. Many years ago, the cemetery is very segregated. Off to the right was the black section. There's a Mormon section, Jewish section, and Chinese section.
It's kind of like who's buried in Grant's tomb. Of course, no one's buried in Grant's tomb because it's a
Now, Fort Bliss was also in this general area at one time, and here they call it Camp Concordia. And the cemetery over here, now these are Yankee tombstones. You know what Yankee tombstones are?
Can't say I've heard that term.
You know, soldiers from the North during the Civil War, called Yankees, right? Well, these are Yankee tombstones over here.
Okay.
But never fear, we also have the Confederacy out here also. You know, Texas was a Southern,
Right.
yeah, Southern sympathizer. So if you look right off to the right there, about the fourth row over, the stones there that have a little point on the top, now those are Confederate soldiers. You know why they have that little point on the top? Well, that keeps them damn Yankee from sitting on the tombstone. I have to tell people, I tell this from the Southern point of view, you know.
Right.
Now off to the left here, where you see the two military stones, the white ones there, they have a little rounding on the top, and the one right in the middle of them there, this is John Selman, the guy that I told you was shot in the alleyway downtown there. That's where he's buried, is right there. And then we went through that housing area that said was Sunset Heights. Well, it was developed by Mr. Mundy, and Mr. Mundy is buried right off to the right there, that large stone right there. about the sprinkle, which that's all right. And in front of us there, where you see the big tall trees and the bushes and all that. Now this is the Jewish part of the cemetery. And there's a gentleman buried over there by the name of Jake Hurley. At a very young age, Jake got in the movies. Of course, he went to Hollywood. And then he wound up in the circus, where he was the biggest and tallest man in the circus. Age of about 35, he came back to El Paso and passed away with kidney failure. When they buried him, he was only 8 feet, 6.5 inches tall. He could probably hold you in one hand.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the high schools in the military. Donated the land so build this high school here.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, bite your leg off.
Yeah.
Did you get your photo?
Yeah.
You're a good boy, Richie.
Yeah, you just come on the other side of that fence and you just see how good I am.
Yeah, I see your teeth.
We're on the bench. He's waiting for his wife to get dressed.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty neat. And then this mural here, this little boy that painted it, I think it's very unique myself.
I do. Yeah, it is.
And we got the dollar stores all throughout the city also. Paralleling the boundary between the United States and Mexico. And then the writing on the mountain over there, a little translation says, read your Bible, it's the truth. And you can't see it because those people stand there, but if you look right straight ahead where those people are standing down there on the freeway, that's the cemetery that we went to a while ago, Concordia.
Huh. Okay.
Now, if right off to the left there, you see a little patch of trees, and over there you see another little patch of trees. Now this little patch of trees over here, at one time, the Rio Grande River actually flowed in front of them. And it flooded, so it went south and south and south, until it went on the other side of those green trees over there. And so the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo said where the main channel of the river was at was the boundary between the two countries. And so that's what President Kennedy was doing here. He got with the Mexican president, and they agreed to move the river back to where it was in 1848, cement it in so it wouldn't change channel. And when they did that, we wound up a little patch of green trees off to the left, and they wound up with the larger patch over there. And like I say, Kennedy's the one that started it, but Johnson is actually the one that signed the paperwork, the treaty, It's on this old tree. But I think it's quite beautiful. We can look,
It is.
Yeah.
look out through there and see the city. And down here, where you see those little matchbox cars, that's the freeway. Look at those 18-wheelers there. You know how big they are. Look how small they look from up here.
Oh yeah.
And off to the left over here, where you see the white tanks and everything, that's the refinery. And then if you look on around, you'll see some white water towers, and those are on Fort Bliss. And right straight out there is the airport. Oh, you can almost, all right, if you look where this sign is there, see the little green and yellow right through there? That's the cemetery that we were at while ago. Are we good?
Yeah.
Or you want,
Yeah.
I was asking him, you take
Yep,
the
I think we're
freeway.
good.
Oh.
And the grandson is well, he's an art major too, but his is in dance. Now they also have a deal here that if they build a new building, it conforms to that style. See, like the parking garage. Now also notice that off to the right there, the front of the mountain, that's where we stopped at for a moment, had the view. Now we're on the west side of the mountain, and these buildings you see up here is the back side of some of those that we were looking at. Of course, they end for miners. Now off to the right here, this is their practice football field. Usually, this university is not noted for their football players, they're more noted for their basketball players. And this big building right here in front of us, this one with a white roof on it, is the gym, and they've named it after Don Haskins, the basketball coach that sent the All Black team in 1966 and won the championship that year.
A number of years ago, the late Marty Robbins, country singer, had a song that was number one for some time, and it mentioned Rosa's Cantina. Here, you can see Rosa's Cantina as we drive by.
I don't know what it is with these people today. That's me on a solid double line. I don't think I was going that slow. These train trestles to take the train from New Mexico to Texas across the Rio Grande River. Right, now you see how the fence goes up to on the side of the mountain there? You notice it also doesn't go all the way across. And this was the last piece of the fence, and this is also the southeast corner of the Gadsden purchase.
Juarez over there.
And then right off to the left of there, right into El Paso. I think that's pretty neat, where you can look at the two cities.
Juarez.
You got batteries, or you need to charge it? Or can you charge it?
Alright, so Mexico, New Mexico, and Texas all right here.
Right.
State of Chihuahua, state of Texas, and state of New Mexico. And is that what the historical markers are?
That's part of it, and then talking about the different conquistadors that came through here, like Don Juan Onate and all that. We good?
Just a second. Trying to get some video.
It's nice up here. I like to come out here every now and then.
El Paso and Juarez at night.
Yeah.
And Sunflower Bank, you would think that would be in Kansas.
Are they from Kansas? Or
Yeah, they just
All right, there you have it. So, as I said, this was a little longer video than we normally do, but I think you should have enjoyed this one. Rudy did an excellent job of explaining and telling us a little bit about the history. And of course, this was a 2.5 to 3 hour tour, and we've got this cut down to a half hour, or a little less than a half hour. But I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to leave your comments below. Tell us what you think.
thanks for watching.
And God bless you. Safe travels, everyone.
Thank you for watching Homestead News.
Please like this video by smashing the thumbs up button.
Don't forget to comment below and tell us what you think.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified of future videos.